This could be a lovely day. All you got to do is open, pray. As time goes by, Black Iowa TV, all the faith. Just say nothing cannot go wrong. Just say nothing cannot go wrong.
Okay, greetings Black Iowa TV fam, and greetings Kabaka. Welcome to Black Iowa TV. We just want to say thanks for the time, first of all, and the opportunity to just catch up with you, because we interviewed you about a year ago this time.
Yes.
So, it's good to be back here and be able to see the growth since the last time we spoke.
Give thanks. I remember that interview.
Right. So,
Very good.
yeah. So we just want to basically catch up with you, basically 1 year later, after Rebel Music. What has been happening, what have you been up to musically?
Okay.
I mean, we hear the singles and we've been playing them as well and supporting the music, but we just want to hear from you personally what has been happening.
Alright. So where you want to begin?
Okay, so we have a new EP expected in November. How different will Lead the Way be from Rebel Music?
It's very different in the sense that Rebel Music was kind of like my baby. You know what I mean? It was, for the most part, it was like me in the studio with some rhythms and some rhythms that I built as well.
Okay.
But this one is more like a compilation encapsulating what has been happening in the last 2 years. You know what I mean? So, the Rebel Music EP dropped in 2011, and then from then we've been working with various producers and releasing singles, mainly, 2012 and 2013. So, some of those songs are on it, as well as some new ones that we did this year but that haven't been released yet. But the message is the same. Ones might see an evolution in terms of you have some more root sounding tracks as well, and it's a different vibe but the same message and thing.
Okay. So how much have you grown as an artist?
I think I've grown significantly, just in terms of confidence, vocals, just experience in the business, performing. I think I've grown a lot as a performer as well, and just direction in terms of making your song have the most impact. You know what I mean?
In terms of the festivals that you performed in Europe, what was that experience like? Going back.
It was crazy, man. A great experience, Definitely different from last year, because last year was like club performances. And,
right.
This year, big festivals and, big stage, whether it's the big stage or it's not the main stage, it's still a much wider audience that I was used to in Europe, you know what I mean? And just the reception was excellent. People more familiar with the songs this time.
Right.
Yeah, certain songs like all the No Capitalist, everybody know them songs there, and you can just feel it from the rhythm start playing. Just crazy vibes, linking up with Ibamar, through the Booksna agency. He was also on tour as well, and a great vibe, our team, the amongst him team, and working shows together, and sometimes you see me with the flag while him perform, sometimes him have the flag, and just nice little vibes, man. Nice vibes, right through.
Okay. And I know that, locally, I have not heard of you performing much here.
Since
right.
Yeah.
Are there any shows in the pipeline where we can see you live here?
Not at the moment. We're looking to have a, Kabaka Pyramid live part 2.
Okay. Because that show was excellent last year, I must say.
Give thanks. Yeah, man, it was very rewarding to see the appreciation for a show like that. You know what I mean? And to kind of gauge where you reach.
Right.
Because it's important that we establish, the brand, so to speak, and just the energies in Jamaica. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because that's how we born and grow, and that's how we love, So, it's important to know, so you know, Jamaica really appreciate what I do.
Right.
You know.
Is there an album in the pipeline? I remember a little Twitter conversation where you said you're sitting on a lot of music.
Yes.
But is an album in the making?
Yes, album is in the making. I don't think the formal album process has begun yet.
Okay.
You know, but songs are there, ideas are there, and the intent to do an album is there. So it's just a matter of things falling into place at the right time, and we get out this release. You know, because we didn't want to just drop an album and then all these songs that we did, some of them don't really get the highlight without they deserve.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So even though it's Kabaka working with other producers, it's still our music. It's still Bebble Rock music.
Right.
You know what I mean? So we wanted to put it out in a package and, you know, put the songs in an order that we feel, you know, accentuates the vibration. You know what I mean?
So that's basically the direction you're planning to take the music then, to make sure that it is appreciated for its value.
Yeah, for sure. You know, we don't want to waste any time and energies while we're doing music, because it's important to do music because you love it. And I have had like 9 years of just doing that. You know what I mean? Okay. So now it's time to see where we can take it. You know what I mean? See, actualize the potential of it.
Okay.
And, you know, and of course, when people appreciate it, that's the greatest thing.
In terms of the youth of Jamaica, do you think they're receiving your sound, your message? What has the feedback been like?
Yeah.
Because I remember a particular line where you said that anything that you put on the rhythm, young people basically soaking it in, right? And you want to send a particular message, but how has the feedback been?
It has been good. It has been good. Sometimes it's hard to gauge, you know, but just generally, it's good. Like when you're talking to people, and then, you know, just being in the streets and people recognize the face. And even the other day, you know, my brother was in Tree and him saw this thing on a light post where said, them not teach us nothing about African features. And, you know, just persist. I can't say for sure if it's my line them get it from, but you know what I mean? We give thanks when we see them thing there. You know what I mean? And I personally believe says a young person did that. You know what I mean? You know, and you know, I was at Haile Selassie School the other day, and we carried some youths out to Palisados to do the coastal cleanup.
Yeah, I was about to ask about that.
Yeah.
Just saw some pictures.
Yeah, it was a nice vibe, and it's like the whole time on the trip. That's why I say it's hard to gauge. You know, the whole time on the trip, nobody not really link me like it's an artist. There was no say a Ras there from Youth Initiative Council or whatever, and Ray. And you know, when we reach back to the school now, they say, you know, through the hard work and thing, I give them some CD. And then one youth come back to me and say, oh, is you the warrior with protege?
Okay.
You know, so it's like them little thing that make you feel good. So the youths, these are youths under 15, you know what I mean? And, you know, they might have seen the video or, you know, it's whatever. So, them things is good for now.
Okay, tell me about your work with the Youth Initiative, because I also know that you're a part of, I think it's a farming project, like, you know, eating what we grow, what we eat.
Exactly.
Tell me about that.
You know, so Youth Initiative Council is an organization, I think about 5 or 6 years old now.
Yeah.
And I've recently gotten on board, you know, as it relates to the education committee. You know, there are no real active projects going on as far as that, but we have some ideas and visions. But the farming project is one thing where we're focusing the energies on right now.
Okay.
So we were looking for an organic farm, you know, using permaculture techniques, you know, that really enriches the soil, and it doesn't deplete the soil, it doesn't deplete nature. So it maximizes and it doesn't waste anything during that technique. And there are other farms like Source Farms and Rasta Village and, you know, self-sufficient communities in Jamaica that we're networking with, you know, to make it happen. And, you know, that is something I've personally invested time in and energies and things. And you know, it's in the beginning stages, but it's definitely something for the future. We want to know that all like all the vegetarian restaurants them,
Right.
and thing can get organic food that is grown in Jamaica.
True.
You know what I mean? And clearly would distribute to supermarkets and things, that's all in the vision. But
So
it's really about
that.
it's really about the community, Rastafari
Right.
community. You
Okay.
know what I mean? Want to know say elders and ancients can get food, wholesome food. You know what I mean?
Right. As the liberal opposer and practitioner of yoga, what role does yoga play in your life? You know, in terms of your lifestyle, your daily routine.
To be honest, I haven't been doing much yoga lately, but what yoga does is sets a mind frame to how you play life. You know, you always want to be, and when I say I haven't been doing any yoga, there are different aspects to yoga. There is mental yoga, there's physical yoga, there is, you know, yoga affects you on all different levels. So I mean like the physical stretches and everything, I haven't been doing much lately, but yoga is a thing just knowing that you want to remain centered in everything that you do and maintain a balance is one of the principles of yoga. And that is something where, you know, I try to maintain, you know, even when you might be going on a stage and you might nervous before you perform. You know what I mean? Just a little breathing technique for help balance you out or something, or just remaining grounded. You know what I mean? So it's, yoga help, you know, just maintain a balance, and it helps to remove things like, you know, ego out of being an artist and getting all this attention.
Yes.
You know, it's one of the things that will humble you, because you realize that at the end of the day you're still just a soul on a journey. You know what I mean?
Okay. I hear in one of your songs you mentioned the age of Aquarius. What does that really mean?
Alright. Well, we know Aquarius is a constellation in the sky, and what happens is that we know that the Earth orbits around the Sun, but the tilt of the Earth's orbit actually causes that each time it orbits around the Sun appears to, when it reaches back around to that same point where they usually consider the spring equinox, the Sun actually it situates at a slightly different point each year.
Okay.
And they call it a precession. So while the Sun is moving, like say from Aries to Taurus, Aries to Taurus and so and so, the precession actually goes backward. So the every year now, every 2,000 and a little bit years, it moves from one constellation to the next. 12 constellation makes up the celestial circle.
Okay.
There. And you know, between around the time of Christ, you know, and 2000 AD, that was the age of Pisces.
Okay.
You know, in and around. They're different. If you go to different people, they will tell you different dates when Aquarius actually begins.
Okay.
But the shift is happening. You can feel it. You can, you know, they call it the age of information. And it's Aquarius is an air sign. So it's like a lot of things are, you know, airborne, and ideas and technology, and you know, the ease at which you can access information, and then later on that will link towards like things like telepathy and just transferring thoughts over the air. You know what I mean? So
sounds interesting.
Basically, each time the Sun is situated in a constellation, it carries a certain energy.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And there are certain symbols that go along with each sign. So, like in Aries, that is when you find certain things in the Bible refer to the lamb, because the lamb is the young form of the ram, and Aries is the ram. You know what I mean? And that is when you find Amun being the head deity in Egypt during that time.
Okay.
You know, and before that it was the bull of Taurus. You know what I mean? So, and then you find Pisces, which is a fish. That is why you always see the symbolism of the fish, and Christ say you must be fishers of men, and these things at this time. So Aquarius, you know, I think we can expect a new revelation, you know, coming soon, just like how you have the Christian revelation. you know, and we even hear scholars coming out now and attempting to prove that the story of Christ was actually fictional.
Okay.
You know, so we're going to see them begin to break down that Piscean kind of mentality moving into the aquarium. You know what I mean? So we can look for all kind of changes. But it's tangible. You can see things like yoga being talked about more.
Yes.
You know, spiritual practices and cultivating the
that is
spirit.
definitely true.
Exactly. So
And being enlightened and
exactly.
you know,
It's what they call
returning
new age
to certain
and
things.
exactly. It's a cyclical thing. You know, we consciousness moves cyclic through the ages of time. The Indians call them the yugas, the ages. You know, so I believe we're in the Kali Yuga now, as far as Indian Hindu philosophy. You know?
I know that you always wear the symbol of the ankh. Also, what does it really mean? What does it signify?
In Kemet, you know, during the pharaonic ages, so to speak, it was seen as the key to eternal life. Sometimes you would see figures of humans actually using the ankh to turn a door.
Okay.
You know, so it has meanings on many different levels, but to summarize it, life, you know, the activation of life, you know what I mean, eternal life, life outside of time, you know what I mean, the life that sustains all beings. You know, the ankh it symbolizes that, and you know, the top part symbolizes the feminine, the womb or the chalice, you know, this lower part symbolizes the male or the phallus, and these two, you know, the child that comes out of the union of male and female.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So, and there are many different levels to it, but that is how we can simplify it.
Okay.
Hero.
Yeah, so the eye of Hero or the Uchat, you know what I mean? This one is the left eye, you know what I mean? So the left eye symbolizes Nekebet, which is actually a feminine deity, symbolized by it. Another symbol for Nekebet is the vulture.
Okay.
So this is like the protective psychic energy.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So people, you know, wore the eye, you know, in certain places and put it around the neck to protect them against certain energies and certain psychic forces.
Okay.
You know?
Thank you. What books are you currently reading? Because I know you're always reading.
Yeah, I'm reading a book by Aisha Swallow the Lyrics named Journey into the Light.
Okay, and what's that about?
Well, basically, her books are always some kind of expose into, you know, the whole idea of enlightenment and human spiritual evolution. But this one actually takes place in France, I think in the 1960s.
Okay.
So it shows a man who was a doctor, very analytical in his thinking, very scientific, who didn't really believe in anything spiritual or anything that can be verified by the senses. And one day he passed by a cathedral and he was in the presence of a lightning bolt that struck the ground.
Okay.
And he came face to face with an aspect of his higher consciousness that actually took a form and began speaking to him.
Okay.
And, you know, it challenged all of his ideas on life and everything. And from then it just kind of began the spiritual journey where he bucks up into other people and he comes into the presence of a master. You know, Maitre Jakes. It's all in French. I don't really know the pronunciation. I don't know how to do the French still. But, you know, it's a really interesting book because they talk a lot about, like, Christian symbolism. Like the medieval symbolism then, you know, and a lot of the cathedrals that were built by the Masons and the Rosicrucians and the master craftsmen who brought certain tradition or continued certain traditions from like Egypt and things. They make subtle references to Kemet, you know, in it. It's good for any seeker who has a Christian background
Okay.
You know, because it reveals a lot of the metaphysical aspects about the New Testament, and the cosmic virgin, and Christ consciousness, and you know, ideas like that, and the 12 disciples, and the symbolism, John the Baptist, you know, versus John the Evangelist, and the metaphysical meanings behind them things. So yeah, interesting.
And as usual, yes, very interesting. But so we have to look forward the EP coming up when in November.
November 5th.
It is supposed to be. Any videos? New videos?
Yeah.
I know we had Worldwide Love.
Yeah. Worldwide. Alright. So King Kabaka is on the EP.
Right.
Warrior is on the EP.
Okay.
Worldwide Love is on the EP. So all of those have had videos, you know, since year actually. So the song I did with Taurus Riley, we shot a video for that. It's editing now. So
Okay.
Israel Records will be putting that out soon. That song is on the deluxe version of the EP.
Okay.
You know, so we look into the others, but I don't really want to say right now. You know,
No, that's fine.
ones, but
That's
we look
fine.
into the other videos as well.
Alright. Okay. Give thanks, Kabaka, for your
Yes,
time. And, you know, we look forward to speaking with you again. And always, it's a pleasure. And we always learn something that we never knew before from you. And that is a great pleasure as well.
Just remind yourself.
Well, yes, that may be so.
True.
Alright, thanks. And Black Iowa TV fam, this is WarriorSistren signing out.
Big up Black Iowa TV. Kabaka says so accurate.